like to call to order the town meeting. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Here.
Trustee McDowell?
Here.
Trustee Holmes? Here. Trustee Frierson?
Here.
Chairman Neal?
Here. Mr. Bremner, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, sir?
Please rise and join in the pledge of allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Are there any agenda changes this evening?
So we had a slight number modification on the list. If you add the totals for under the General Assistance Fund, you can tell me what you come up with.
The operating expenses should read $14,070.86 instead of $14,070.54.
That's the difference. Thank you. 14 what?
14070.86.
Thank you for catching that.
And then the final total,
Total work.
$81,040.62.
Okay, I see what you're
Well-
saying. Yeah, I see.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. The other item that I would like to make changes to is item 10. I would like to move that to the November meeting. We will be filing it by October 31st, and then we will receive and place it on file at the November meeting. Is there a motion to approve those changes?
So moved.
Second. Motion second. Further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes? Aye. Trustee Frierson?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Item 5, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held on September 17th, 2019 at 6:15 p.m. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion second.
Second.
Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes? Aye. Trustee Frierson?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Next item on the agenda is a special presentation by Mandy Florup, the Executive Director of the Lake County Municipal League. Ms. Florup?
Good evening, Board. Thank you for having me. As Chairman Neal mentioned, my name is Mandy Florup, and I am the Executive Director of the Lake County Municipal League. I'm here tonight to talk about a new division of membership that we have created specifically for townships in Lake County. For those of you that don't know about our organization, which I think most, if not all of you do, we're a council of government located in Lake County with 43 municipal members and about 30 associate business members. Our associate membership is normally municipal vendors like ComEd, Groot, Waste Management, and the municipal law firms, that type of thing. So one of the priorities this year has been to unify our various forms of government between county, municipalities, and townships. And our first step in doing that is to create a new division of membership specifically for townships. And we've just begun this, and we're starting to kind of roll it out. And Chairman Neal was kind enough to invite me to come and speak with you about this. The membership would be only for Lake County townships, and it would be $500 for the year. And what that membership would allow you to have is three specific, many things, but I think three things that are of a high level of importance. The first is participation in our cooperative purchasing program. We do a very popular cooperative purchasing program every year with about 25 municipalities that participate. So in the past, almost every year we've done crack sealing, pavement patching, pavement marking, tree removal and stump grinding, street sweeping, and concrete work. We've also done financial audit services, IT contracts, different types of professional services as they've been requested. Every December, we'll put out a survey to our members and ask them what they need. And based on that, we'll bid out those projects. And the league will take on all of the legal requirements of the bidding process. We'll make sure all the notifications are posted. We do the contracts, we put out the bids, we accept the bids, we handle the bid opening, and then once a vendor is selected, we do all of the background checks and give the contracts to the municipalities that are interested in participating. So for most of our municipalities, this is a huge time saver, and it saves them a substantial amount of costs on the legal fees and the contract negotiation fees. So that's, in my opinion, that's probably the greatest benefit to townships in becoming members of the league, is you would have the opportunity to be a part of our cooperative purchasing program. If those aren't services that you're looking to, then you certainly would be able to tell us what our services you're interested in when we send out that survey in December. And if they align with 3 or 4 of our members, then that would be a project we would bid out. The second benefit to membership is a legislative update. And I know most townships belong to a larger organization where you receive a municipal, or a township update with your legislative information, bills that are going on. We have a similar organization called the Illinois Municipal League, and we'll get a list of bills, and from our experience, we weren't finding that we were getting the bills that were particular to Lake County. So, for example, there was an airport bill that went on to the 3rd reading last year that was very silent on funding and had the potential to place a tax on every single homeowner in Lake County. So we found out about that from our lobbyist, and we were able to stop that bill from moving forward. That's an example of where we would be able to kind of work together and do some legislative work that's very regionally focused. And then, of course, we do events and we do updates about every other week while we're in session and during veto session. We have a very large legislative breakfast in February where we have all of our legislators come, ask them questions, we're able to interact with them and have that good one-on-one time with them. And then the third benefit that I see is the networking and the social events. We do have a very active membership base, and I think, like I said, one of the priorities of the league is to really make everyone a cohesive unit here in Lake County between our county officials, our township officials, and our municipal officials. So being active in our events like our legislative breakfast and our innovation awards and our training. We're going to have a cannabis training at the end of October. That's free of charge to our members. So events like that, I think, would be a benefit as well. So that's what I'm here to talk about, and I kind of want to stop my talking now and open it up to see if you have any questions or concerns or anything that you'd like to know more about as far as this goes, or the league, or this new division of membership.
Just to point out, so Zion Township is unique. It's like West Deerfield Township in that we're coterminous, and so we don't have a highway department. The city does all of the highways.
Does all the roads.
So that's one area that would not be as much of an impact as probably
Sure.
a lot of the areas would. I'm curious, legislative updates. Would your legislative team be keeping an eye open for township legislation as well? Or?
Probably more local government. So it would be anything that would affect units of local government in Lake County. But if there was something that was township related that was particular to Lake County, that would be something she would be looking at. And our lobbyist is Pam Altoff, retired state senator.
Very cool. That's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of my greatest concerns and frustrations at the state level is the work that's being done without recognizing consequences, right? And there's not any work going on and I tried pushing and pushing anytime they're looking at legislation, just have a third party do a little bit of research to find out what the unintended consequences will be. Because they think they know, but then they don't, and then the bill passes, and we've got a whole lot of different situations that have already come up that has caused that. So I appreciate that you're trying to do this more cohesive, because it's, especially at the township level, everybody that doesn't need the services is really good at taking pot shots and saying that they don't need it, but they haven't really even listen to what it is we're doing. So
Right.
So I appreciate the opening up of
Right.
them to be able to have a bigger team.
Yeah, and I think the airport bill is a great example of what you just said, because just because something is silent on funding, the bill itself seemed to be rather benign. But when you look deeper and you have someone like a lobbyist that's educated and they know how to look at these bills, they can say, hey, this is a problem, this is a red flag. So that's been very helpful. And we do think that if we are able to speak unified as one voice, it will be beneficial to our whole region.
How many townships have already considered this option or are looking to join right now? Do you know?
Good question. So we have 3 that have committed, Grant, Antioch, and Lake Villa. But like I said, we have just rolled this out. I'm meeting with all of the township supervisors tomorrow to formally introduce this idea. Those 3 townships have come on board because the mayor of Fox Lake hosts an informal social casual lunch every month where those township supervisors go and county board members go and several mayors in that region. And that's kind of where this idea originated, was from that cohesive group that was socially meeting, talking about family, nothing work related. And they said, hey, we should talk about how we can make this work for all of us.
Interesting.
So, I mean, even though we are coterminous and don't have a highway department, I do like the option of the co-op purchasing for our professional services and IT staff. Are there any companies that you've worked with already that are like in this area?
Well, the City of Zion is, just by way of background, the City of Zion does participate in our cooperative purchase program for many of these road projects. And those companies, we go with the lowest bidder. So some of them are from this area, some are not.
Do you have a number in mind of townships that need to participate in the program to make it viable?
No, I don't think there is a need. We are not looking at this to, I think if we were going to expand, the costs that we're asking the townships to pay is going to be expand Pam's, our lobbyist's role. So if we don't get township membership and we're not able to expand her role, then we won't go that route. So, if we could get 10, then that would pay her an extra $5,000 to be able to expand. Right now, she's doing a very focused legislative lobbying contract with us.
And I've spoken to 2 other township supervisors that are fully intending to be involved with this. They called me to make sure I knew about it. That was when I reached out to you so that I can find out more information.
And I'm happy to come back, or if you have questions and you want to send them, and we can toss them around. Like I said, this is a new program. So, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but we wanted to try it and see. I don't know that any other COG, I know that no other COG has a township division. And so there's Council of Government COG is the acronym, and they're all over. There's, and every county has one, and they have their municipalities that belong, and then they have an associate membership base. So this is kind of groundbreaking to have a township division.
What I really appreciate about it is, especially with all of the different legislation pieces, if anything that they remove from the township falls on the county, and there's nobody talking about like what that really looks like. So to have everybody on one team having those conversations with the municipalities and the townships and the counties, the services that are provided, where would they fall, so that we can have real dialogue instead of just hearsay.
Yeah.
It's a powerful new round table to be able to have those conversations.
I think so, and I think it could really make Lake County that much more powerful and stand out amongst the other counties.
You're having a meeting tomorrow?
I am at luncheon with the township supervisors to introduce this concept to the broader base.
I'm not. I have Waheep at Carmel House and Chandler Tower, so I have to do that.
But I'll let you know how it goes.
Right. Yeah,
And I'm sure your colleagues will.
Right, I'm sure I'll hear.
It was a huge flop.
So thank you.
Yes, you're so
you coming
welcome.
out
Thank you for
and
inviting me
doing
and
this.
welcoming me here. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. So, thoughts should I put it on the agenda for next month to make a formal decision about?
I think so. All of my interactions with the league have been positive, and they put on some good programs and trainings for trustees and commissioners. So.
Cool. Okay, excellent. So I'll put it on the next agenda and we can go from there. Thank you. Okay, item 7, are there any citizens' comments this evening? Yes, sir.
Supervisor Neal, gentle ladies, honorable sirs, I am W.C. Bremner, Zion here. It was on the 10th of November in 1775, a Continental Congress authorized Captain Samuel Nicholas to raise 2 battalions of seagoing soldiers to be known as Continental Marines. Ever since that date, every United States Marine everywhere has claimed the 10th of November as his or her birthday. Therefore, I respectfully call upon the Zion Township Board of Trustees to send the appropriate birthday greetings and felicitations to the Commandant of the Marine Corps, Headquarters Marine Corps, 8th and I, Southeast, Washington, D.C. I thank you for your time, your courtesy, and your attention to this matter. Permission to stand down, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Would you mind giving me that information in writing so that we could make sure that we do that correctly?
Yes, ma'am.
That would be awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Any other citizens' comments?
Signed in, but I guess I shouldn't sign in.
Okay, it's okay.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Tracy Johnson. I'm a resident of Zion, Illinois. 2 items at hand. One, for those at the school board meeting with Dr. Chris Clark and the trustees there, I went over a plan as far as trying to recruit more teachers to come into the district, primarily those teachers from HBCU colleges. And with that said, when I met at Chicago State this past Saturday and Operation Push in Chicago, we went into further as far as incentives to put together a nice package for people that are locating here. And with that package in mind, you need to put something together where we have a relationship with rental properties. So when the people decide to move here, they have immediate contact. But at the same time, to get people to invest in our communities, I'm asking all of the taxing bodies in Zion to forego 4 years of property taxes to any of those people who choose to relocate as an instructor with a 4-year contract, purchase a home in the city of Zion, and for those taxing bodies, again, forego whatever that 70 or 80% is collectively, whether it's the city council, whether it's the park district, whether it's the township. Now, something that we did in Washington, D.C. when I bought my first house in 1992. Except for then, D.C. government matched our funds with, if up to $5,000, you got a matching funds to put, for your, put down on your home. So with that said, just so I'm putting it out there. Huh?
Can I make a comment on that?
Sure, go right ahead.
And who's going to pick up the taxes that aren't being paid by that person?
Well, if you're looking,
I'm going to pay those taxes. He's going to pay those taxes.
That's correct.
Spread the taxes to people that have been living here. I just don't think that's a good idea.
well, sir, if you look at the numbers, which believe me, I was with Chicago teachers this past Saturday, and with enough people who know within the framework of the decision-making process. If you look at what the salaries are for this teachers in the city of Chicago, they're $75,000, $65,000 starting, and what is it here in Zion? $40,000. So you have to entice, you have to dangle some kind of carrot. You have to give, you have to give somebody a reason to be here.
Passing the taxes on to other residents isn't the way to do that.
So,
Well, once they-
this is a citizen's comment. I don't know if this is a place to write it. And I mean, it's an opinion that's being thrown out.
It's been going on for over 25 years.
At this point, and say what will and won't work and what taxpayers are willing to accept. We've all expressed concerns about the state of our school district and the quality of teachers and that sort of. And so, if someone comes up with a plan, I think it, behooves us to at least listen to it, consider it, and see what's about it.
We tried this plan with the taxing bodies before, and we've been working on this for years, and nothing's ever happened.
Okay.
So in the,
Well, I-
with the economic development corridor, is businesses coming in, is there something, some sort of incentives for them?
For the TIF districts, yes, there are.
Oh, interesting.
This is the part I love. I've been doing this for 25, 30 years. See, when you brought those people into the equation, you brought in the Forest Preserve and everybody else. I'm talking about the immediate taxing body. And hold on, in the city of Zion. But look at all the empty properties you have here now.
If you're giving people are moving into the community a tax break, what happens to these people that have been living here for all these years? They're going to take the burden of those people getting a tax break, and it's going to be pushed on them.
Their children and their grandchildren are going to be the benefactors of those educators who care to come here and be part of the community. As we buy into them, they buy into us.
Here's what I just appreciate is that there's somebody that's thinking outside of the box, because we have a serious issue with needing teachers, and I appreciate that you're like trying to think up creative solutions for being able to do that. I don't know where, who would be the best person to actually, you know what I mean, investigate that?
We had a taxing body, we still do have a taxing body committee, so to speak, with several representatives from each of the taxing bodies. That group has migrated mostly to the nuclear fuel at our lakefront. So that's what has been the topic of discussion. But we didn't talk about that very thing, like Larry mentioned. It just didn't gain much traction.
Oh, I was sitting in the cheap seats. On my second item.
Well, just as another note, if the funding does come through, there might be other opportunities. So throwing different ideas on the table is really
Believe me,
So
these ideas have been working for the last 30 years. But again, I can love my brother. Larry is the boogeyman a lot of times. Oh yes, this is the man that lives in this. I feel like, what was that, George Jefferson when he kissed Archie Bunker?
I love it.
See, Larry helped me out a few years ago, 5-6 years ago. I came to his office.
I try to be as fair as I can, but sometimes some of these ideas are just.
Right, I understand.
Access to other people. We need to reduce the budgets and reduce our levies and reduce our tax rate, and then we'll have people come into the community.
I understand. But Larry helped me out with I came to his office when he was still over in this building here.
He still is.
Oh, he still is? Okay. And there was a young lady with you working from the county that year. I had you pull up the Dooms property for me.
That was probably Michelle.
Yes. Well, he was very outstanding with his staff came together. I was still working on this wine festival for this region, I lovely call Mayberry. And he brought up all the aerial photos and gave me all the square footage of all the property for my proposal. And I just want to say thank you to Larry, because he didn't have to do all that. He set everything aside that day and had the other young lady in his office and a lady from the county come over and find all 3 properties that I was looking for, including the fielders, and come up with everything for my proposal. Now, how the city lost it, I don't know, but thank you again. And thank you. I know it is.
Are there any other citizens' comments this evening?
Thanks.
Okay.
But I found issue on number 84.
Yeah, he's.
No, it's, so the total bill number is correct as printed. I think the only correction that needs to be made is for the operating expenses at the 14070.
That's what I was trying to add up, and then I was trusted. So the total was right. It was just a misprint in those
I
two
believe the
numbers.
subtotal for general assistance fund total expenses is correct. And when you sum down from there, the total bills is also correct.
Is that what you guys are finding too?
Yeah, it still comes up to 8104.95. So that apparently is a typo here in that total, but the underlying totals here are still correct. So that particular one is incorrect, but the rest of the totals together is the same. Okay.
So next item on the agenda is authorized bills for payment. Trustee Fisher.
Yeah, just reviewing what Commissioner Holmes found. Apparently there's a typo on the agenda version, which is off, but the actual totals based on the income statement summary, actual versus budget, the total still comes out to $81,040.94. So I would just respectfully ask approval to pay
Finances as stated with
the
that
bills,
correction under the.
authorize those bills for payment.
Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion?
A couple questions about our professional and technical services. A big portion of that is the magazine. I
Yes.
was wondering if there was a reason we didn't put that under publishing and advertising.
I believe it's because we had, so what we had originally budgeted for was for the position of the 20,000 of having that as a position, and so the funding was in that position. Let me just double check to make sure I'm speaking. Yeah, so if you look at, hang on, let me go up to it. So under professional technical services, we actually have a line item under their collaboration contract and under marketing, it's $50,000. So we put those funds in there under that line item because it's not really, it's not us doing that work. We're contracting to do the magazine with the other taxing bodies.
Okay.
So we thought it was more in line doing it under professional services with that because it's more of a pass-through fund than it is us doing marketing.
And how much of that 55 is passed through?
I would have to look at all of the receipts and then it's for the 4 magazines. So each one will be, based on the contracted months.
Okay. And we had no accounting services for this month?
It's possible that we, because we had a 5-week month, that it will be paid in the next one or the last one. Once in a while it leans over.
Okay. And then looking at our community support budget, we haven't used any of that. Do we typically? So I'm not sure about food pantry, clothing pantry, and emergency shelter.
So, let me just. We've used all of it.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you look at, we send out a check when we first, at the beginning of the fiscal year. So each one of those has been paid out, just not this month.
Got it.
And just for clarification for everybody, what we do is we support some agencies in the community to make sure that we have those resources for residents in crisis. So substance abuse counseling, we give a stipend of $3,000 to NACASA. The food pantry, we partner with Christian Assembly of God, Abiding Love Food Pantry, and they get $2,000. Clothing pantry, we work with Love Inc. Because they do situations for residents to be able to do that. And then emergency shelter, we support the pads to be able to have those services. So, and then also under GA, we provide $1,500 to the Coalition to Reduce Recidivism to be able to help residents that are have criminal backgrounds to help them expungement, get back into the workforce, whatever we can do with them.
Okay.
So,
And then the other question was about disaster relief.
yes.
We've almost exceeded that budget, right?
Yes, yes. There have been a couple of situations working with the building department
Okay.
where individuals had to be removed from the home because of violations from the landlord to the city. It's a touchy situation, and I would like to have, Jackie, if we could have a further conversation about that and really work on like how we define that and what we do. I don't know what the liability is with the landlords in those situations, but in every one of those situations there were kids involved, and we have a partnership with the hotel in town that gives us a really good rate, so we've been able to use that situation.
And then it came up last month. There was the question about the $35,000 for the summer work program. That was for the van, right?
That was for
Okay. And then what was the agreed upon rate for Ms. Ditzik for services?
she's being paid $35 per hour
Okay.
doing the marketing. And then if you,
So it's not a monthly, it's 35 per hour?
yeah, we opted to do the 35 per hour because there were a number of issues that we needed to address.
And are we contracted for a certain number of hours each month?
No,
or-
no. And what I've opted to do in the financial report is every time for every invoice, we're also including every single thing that she did so that we can be, because when it gets FOIA'd, because we know that it will, we'll have all of that information, that information.
Okay. And then under public assistance, I was going through the detailed check run and comparing that to the supervisor's report. Is the supervisor's report intended to be a look forward? So the approvals for this month will come through bills next month?
Well, so that's the problem with the report and the financials. We've tried to like balance that out too, and sometimes the payout, like the individual, like we can't help with the emergency assistance until they take the finance class.
Got it.
And so sometimes it ends up being, in the next month or the prior month or different situations, so it doesn't always balance out.
Cool.
But thank you for checking that.
Thank you.
So, any other questions? Is there a motion to approve? Did we do that already? Okay, good. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes? Aye. Trustee Ryerson?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Next item on the agenda is to receive and place on file the audit for year ending April 30th, 2019 per Chairman Neal. And everybody has a copy of the audit. I have extra copies if anybody would like a copy, if you need something to help you go to sleep. Is there a motion to just receive and place on file? And we can, if there's anything else we want to discuss at the next meeting, we can bring that up. And just as a reminder, item 10, the annual treasurer's report, we will do at the November meeting, so we'll be talking about it again.
Okay. I'll make that motion. Place it on file.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes? Aye. Trustee Ryerson?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Next item on the agenda is consider approval of an agreement between Zion Township and My Father's Business for Chairman Neal. We've been working on this for a while. We have an agreement from our attorney that we received the van, and the agreement is that My Father's Business would be utilizing the van when we aren't in need of it for the summer work program or the Red Hatters. The agreement was the van was $35,000. They will be contributing by the end of next year $15,000 of that. Yeah. So, is there a motion to accept?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
No discussion.
And
Oh,
we'll
with
get
the
that-
correction.
with the
Yes,
correction
yes. I
for
did correct
item-
it on the original
For
copy.
line 9.
Yes, to be borrower instead of borrow.
Right.
The only other comment that I had on that was, did anyone bring up adding like an annual verification for insurance? Because this is a 5-year
Right.
agreement.
Right?
And the borrower has to maintain insurance, correct? Their own insurance? Okay. So is that something that kind of behooves us to check periodically?
Yeah, we could easily add that. Yeah, just an annual, that they have to submit their insurance information.
I just think it's good to have.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a good idea.
Good. Okay. So approve with amendment? Did we do a motion?
Yep.
Wow. So that being said, clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes? Aye. Trustee Ryerson?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Okay, assessor's report.
Well, first of all, I have to thank Tracy for the proof. That was really fun. And I have to tell you guys, Tracy and I have been arguing for probably 10 years. He's been filing appeals in Waukegan Township, Zion Township. So I've known Tracy for a while, but again, thank you. I do have another thank you. I want to thank everybody that came out last Tuesday to the open house / forum that we had about assessments. And we had a full house, and I hope that it was helpful to people. I want to thank Holly Kim. I want to thank Bob Bluchert, the Chief County Assessment Officer, Dave Navel, Mayor McKinney, my staff, and last but not least, Gibby for recording it. I think it went really, really good, and it's one of these things with a new system, and we probably could do one of these once a week and still would have all the answers, all the questions answered. We're 2 weeks into the appeal process. When I say the phones aren't stopping ringing, I'm not kidding. You answer a call, you put it down, and it's ringing again. One of the problems this year, since we are on the new camera system, is that everything has to be filed online. There are no exceptions. The county is not accepting any appeals that you walk in and hand it to them. So everything has to be filed online. It's not the easiest system to learn how to use. So if you have any questions, feel free to come into our office and we will help you file the appeal, but we will not help you find comps to beat my values. So it's kind of a iffy, a weird thing. I mean, I'll show you how to use the system, but I'm not going to show you how to beat me. Saying that, Saturday between 8 and 1, the office will be open. I will have a full staff here, and we will walk you through the process how to file an appeal. It would be nice if you came into the office with your comps already, but that's not always how it works. But we will walk you through the process. We'll show you how to file an appeal, and we'll send it to the county for you. So Saturday, 8 to 1. We really appreciate if you would be able to come. Let's see what else we have. And another thing with this new system and working with the Chief County Assessment Office, there is going to be a time where all forms are going to have to be filed online. The senior freeze, everything that any exemption that you get, everything is going to have to be filed online. Nothing is going to be able to be dropped off to our office or dropped off to the county. Everything is going to have to be done on the computer. I see people shaking their head, and I
have to disagree with you. I went straight to the assessor's office in Waukegan. They were more than happy to help me.
And that's wonderful, but they're not.
Because when I turned in the paperwork for my disability for my homeowners, this office did not turn it in to Waukegan, even though she said she was taking it right over there. So I went down and...
They're the county, though. There's townships. There's 18 townships and 18 different assessor's offices. So every assessor's office does things a little bit different. Yes, if you go to the county will help you file. Another thing that we did this year is we contacted the library and we gave them a packet of all the information that we handed out last Tuesday. And if you go to the library, they'll help you file an appeal online. They have computers and they'll upload everything and take care of it. But as far as our office, and I do apologize if you brought your form.
I brought it in and your secretary said, oh no, I personally will take it over there. I go over there every week. And 4 weeks later, she had still not turned it in. So I just reapplied with...
Okay, and I do apologize for that, but... And if you go to the county's more than happy to do it.
They do help.
That's it, guys. That's short and sweet.
Thanks, Larry. Any other questions for Larry? Okay. So the last item is supervisor's report. A few things I'll go fairly quickly. First and foremost, the ZB Quarterly, the magazine that came out in the mail the first week of September. The next one will be coming out the first week of December. We are collecting the information right now. If anybody has a calendar, a date, anything that they want to be shared with the community, please email that to zbquarterly@gmail.com, and we will make sure that we get that in the calendar. So looking forward to that. LAHEAP, we're doing, the Zion Township, we provide the low-income home energy assistance. We fill out the applications for residents. And it started on October 1st, and as of today, we'd already completed 60 of the applications. Tomorrow, we're going to be at 2 of the senior buildings, so we're expecting to have over 150 already within a couple of days. And last year, we actually brought in over $158,000 for residents doing that paperwork. So if you make as a single person, I'm going to get this wrong, $15,640 or less. No, $1,540. Now I'm going to screw it up. Anyway, it's about $1,540 or $60. If you make less than that, as an individual, you qualify for LAHEAP, and we do it every single Tuesday from 1 until 3 o'clock. Call us to find out what information. Yeah.
A month or a year?
Per month, $1,500 a month. Thanks, Heather. So we also, ELF Network, if you know of any family that is struggling over the holidays, we have ELF Network participation cards. They're a huge blessing to residents. We've got them at the Park District, the library, the township, the city, and the school districts all have them as well. The first 50 families to complete it and turn it in will be a part of the ELF Network program. And then Zion Together, Love Thy Neighborhood. So one of the things you have on your table are these packets. This is the newly devised Zion Together initiative. And just to share with you, this project, so these are the shirts, right? Zion Together, Love Thy Neighborhood, and we have sponsors. We've taken in almost close to $5,000 for the Zion Together initiative from different places. Got it, Gibby? And then, oops, sorry about the microphone. There you go. And then this is the prototype. It will not be this sign because this was a little bit nicer than what we'll be doing. They're going to look for how to scale it down. But now how you see the neighborhood watch signs in neighborhoods, any neighborhood that becomes a Zion Together neighborhood will get one of these signs in their neighborhood. And so all you do is you go to ZionTogether.com and you get a few of your neighbors together and you just do a few things together to get to know each other. Because one of the things that we're realizing is that people keep looking to like government and looking to everybody to, the police department to fix it. And as we start to at least in my neighborhood, as we started to get to know our neighbors and started to work together and started saying no to some of the things that were going on and working together, everything changed. And so it's our hope that we can get neighborhoods to kind of lean together and figure out how do we take back our neighborhood as a team. So hope people will check that out. The packet is adorable. It includes pictures of people from our community. And then it's just a 6-step process that's very simple. And then a neighborhood roster, a list of 55 things that you can do as a neighborhood, just as suggestions, and then just the information on the old sign and the new sign of what we're pushing. So would love to have, and we are intending, so then the next thing, we're going to have a Thanksgiving celebration at Zion Township on Tuesday, November 5th from 5:30 to 6:30. It's right before the board meeting because I figured if I fed you guys and then you could come to this meeting and have eaten. We're looking at having turkey chili and we just really want to celebrate the neighborhoods that have become Zion Together neighborhoods. Anybody that becomes a neighborhood by then, we will be recognizing. Everybody will get their shirts. As well as we want to do a christening of the van. We're getting the logos put on the van right now. We also had the Blacksmiths Association donate the trellis. We want to do something special for that. Recognize the ELF Network and a number of other things. So if you guys can make it, and anybody in the community, we would love to have you to celebrate those things. And then the last thing we're working on, so we're working on Zion's 2020 vision. And the goal is to get every resident to think about, it's 2020, we're thinking about like new vision and think individually. We're so focused in a lot of situations on all of the problems that we have going on, but we're hoping that residents will think about what's the one thing, what's the one thing that you would want to do to enhance your life or to overcome barriers. And we've got a list of 20 things for 2020 that my team and other volunteers are working on coming up with just a fact sheet of like, what are the resources? If my goal was to start a business, what do I do? How do I do it? Where do I go? And so we'll have the stepping stones for that. We've been meeting. We've had 2 meetings. We have our 3rd meeting this week with people that are invested in helping people become homeowners. So we've got Lake County Housing Authority. We've got affordable housing. We've got a ton of realtors. We've got financial people all at the table, and we put together the roadmap from like, I'm on Section 8 housing and I have no income, but I want to be a homeowner someday. What's the path? How do I get there? And so it's all of the different steps from phase 0 to go. And so we're working on also bringing in classes and resources and having a schedule so that people will be able to do that. So just trying to cash in on 2020. It feels like there's something magic about that new year. So that'll be going out for the new year. And then the last thing that I wanted to share with you, I put it on I shared it with each of you. Gurney had a community conversation on homelessness and panhandling. and I've been trying to get information on it, but I've had a couple of people ask if we could have a conversation like this and just what are the resources, and I really appreciated that they brought in all of the key partners, just so that we can address it and know what's going on and how to handle it. So bringing in, Pat's and the Housing Coalition and Lake County and different ones and having a dialogue. So I would love your input. What do you think? If you think it's something that we would want to do, we would look at pulling the partners together and having that community dialogue.
Okay.
So I've got one nod. Just, you think it would be?
Yeah.
Cool, okay. Trustee McDowell, what's your thought on it? Anything? Okay, excellent, cool. So that's everything I got, so just double check. Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes? Aye. Trustee Ryerson?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. 6:59. We made it.